As Cameroon gears up for the 2025 presidential election, key priority areas need to be focused on by political parties. Political parties in Cameroon at this point in time need to take out time to align their vision, their mission, their modes of operation, and their key priority areas for Cameroonians to actually know, so that they can know which party can best address their needs and aspirations. We are counting March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October, where the presidential election will be conducted across the entire nation, where Cameroonians will have the key priority and will have their right to choose who becomes their leader within the next 7 years. However, since the election of 2018, political parties seem to have derailed themselves from what needs to be done by instead attacking each other. Today, it is common to see opposition opposing opposition, and it is common to see opposition attacking the president of the republic rather than explaining their vision and why Cameroonians should vote for them. In every TV program, it is common to see that instead of the opposition parties to actually streamline their vision and to tell you that I would do this, or the party aim to do this, and this is their roadmap, and this is how long it will take, these are our short-term policy, these are our long-term policy, these are our major objective, and this is our short-term objective. Our darling opposition parties are there attacking each other and attacking the president. Of course, in politics, you must attack your adversary. But one of the best ways of giving voters education is by streamlining your policies, how you will be able to resolve the current issues that are plaguing the nation. There is no gainsaying that Cameroon, 60 years after independence, is still at Atakimbo, as many will say, at a standstill, where we will say momentum before collision will give us momentum after collision. For more than 60 years, it is time to applaud the leadership for having taken us to where we ought not to have been, instead of taking us to where we ought to have been. For more than 60 years, after we regained our independence, since 1990, when the reintroduction of multi-party politics was done in Cameroon, many applauded the move and said this move will accelerate Cameroon growth and development. Many thought this move will bring accountability to the most desired justice system. Many thought this move will bring good governance in a nation that is struggling to emerge. Many thought this democracy will be a well-established policy where unemployment will come down, as political parties will be able now to say ideas and ideologies, not attack an individual or group of persons. However, Francis Nyamjo, in his book titled The Ugly Face of Journalism, actually pinpointed that a lot of most of this political class are engaged in different types of journalism, in which he captioned some yellow journalism, tribal journalism, junk journalism, partisan journalism, just to name but these. We are counting barely 6 months for presidential election. Many and very few political parties, stakeholders have been able to be giving press conferences and granting full-scale interview to media organs to say their vision. Some are saying that it is not yet time for them to come out. The question now is, how long will the time be, where we are counting just few months to go? The issue of opposition coalition is in the lips of many and thousands of Cameroonians who have not yet decided, or some who probably are just registered, hoping that it will come. However, we are seeing the attack of A, B, C, D opposition parties that is enough to tell you that opposition coalition is a far-fetched dream. In 1990, after multi-party politics was launched, the Social Democratic Front and some political stakeholders observed the trend and understood that it would be difficult for a single political party to oust the current regime or the government in power. What did they do? At the time, Cameroon was not that divided. At the time, Cameroonian opinion was not that segregated. Many still had to look at things from one perspective. However, they understood that even with that merit, there will still be need for coalition. And thus, there was a coalition called Union pour le Changement, mounted and chaired by SDF, under which we saw the result that came so close, though hypothetically some say they won. But however, officially it is that the current president won the election according to official results. We are counting 6 to 7 months. Insecurity in the northwest and southwest, 7 years counting, is still very, very active. As I'm talking to you every day, 1 or 2 persons or more are being killed in the northwest and southwest region directly by the use of gun and bullet. Others die as a result of the war indirectly due to the inaccessible to hospitals because of fighting, and some businesses are crumbling and people can no longer have their day-to-day bread or daily bread because of the war in the northwest and southwest region. Corruption in itself is the order of the day, as many would have thought that Cameroon's president promised on stamping out corruption based on his rigor and moralization would have been the thing of existence. But however, it seems to be a far-fetched dream or a pipe dream. However, we are also looking at the educational system, the healthcare system of Cameroon. Many are dying in the hospital because they cannot afford to pay the consultation and the regulation that many doctors do put in. No money, no treatment. Because of that, many die in a country where the state ought to protect lives and property. The question is, isn't priority no longer on the protection of lives and property when money becomes the center of treatment? How much can the people survive? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis. You're welcome back and happy Sunday. If you are just joining us, I want to seize this opportunity to wish all of you happy Sunday, and of course wish those who are celebrating their birthday this period of February happy birthday. My own birthday will be on Tuesday, and the 11th of February, which is when I was born. So that is when I'll be celebrating my birthday. Those of you who may want to join me in the celebration, fine. If you may, you have the gift to give me. My number is on your screen. If you think that my program has been that which has touched you, my number is on your screen. You can feel free to give me your own birthday gift through my number. And I want to wish happy birthday to you, Madam Benedict from the United States of America. Happy birthday to you, and many more years, or to you, many more years. The CEO of the Next Generation Estate, CEO, Madam Benedict, happy birthday to you as you celebrate your birthday. Come for the 13th. May God continue to guide and protect you and bless you enormously. I want to also wish happy birthday to you, Blanche I. Blanche I, happy birthday to you, former student of the Catholic University of Boya. As you celebrate your birthday, may the good God continue to guide and protect you in this year of 2025. All those of you celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. To kickstart today's edition, I welcome my guest with whom we are going to continue the program here. Emmanuel is a Cameroon civil society, those who are trying hard to ensure that leadership should be accountable, fair, balanced, and objective. Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Javis. Good morning and happy Sunday to my dear colleagues, my dear panelists, dear viewers. This is another day for us to demonstrate, to tell the public, to discuss what is happening in Cameroon. And particularly today, we are looking at the presidential election that is coming up in less than 7 months. It's going to be another opportunity for Cameroonians to decide who they want to rule them. It's certain. The social contract says that. The social contract of General Agrido says that when the people decide and give power, when the people decide, they will give power to who can handle the power on their behalf and for them. Today we are going to be discussing more. Thank you.
And also we are joined by Mr. Kimbang Vitalis. He's a member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, and he's a senior elite from the Donga Amantum Division. And Mkambe is here with us. Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday, my fellow co-panelists. I would you say happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
You were born on the 11th of February. My first son was born on the 10th of February.
Means happy birthday to your first son.
Yes, happy birthday to my Yes, my first son,
Which is tomorrow.
Kimbang Sadu Fonyoy. I wish him happy birthday in advance. So I'm happy to be here once more. It has been a while. I've been on to Ground Zero, so I just came back, and I think that we are going to have very fruitful discussions today.
Thank you very much. Also, we are in the company of a very good colleague here in the studio, who is here with us. Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us today.
Happy Sunday, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday to the other co-panelists. It's another Sunday for us to come here and see how we can contribute to the development of this country through our own diverse opinion. Hopefully, the opinions we share here every Sunday is of great help to stakeholders in the society, especially the politicians who are preparing to face incumbent President Paul Biya. I don't know, President Paul Biya hasn't declared his candidacy, but the way things are going on seems he's still the one, or a candidate who are to face the incumbent regime. Because apart from President Paul Biya to be a standing force, the CPDM is a strong standing force. Let me acknowledge that, though there are some lapses everywhere. However, we are going to talk more this Sunday, and I hope it's going to be fruitful and end in a peaceful way. Thank you, Javis.
Thank you. Also, those of you, somebody just sent me a message asking that when is my birthday celebration? Where is my birthday celebration going to take place? I don't yet know. It's on Tuesday when we are going to do march. We will definitely need to listen to what the president will have to say tomorrow. Then I thought we shall be looking at the gentlemen. Before we start today's program, let us look at what is making news across the nation. Across the nation, we experienced that the funding of the Cameroon Renaissance movement, CRM, actually mobile money suspension was done. And as it stands now, could it be a sabotage or means of an accountability? Because they have not yet given out an official communique, and they said they were not told by MTN why and what happened. They were not pre-notified. Mr. Kimbang.
Yes, Tah Mai Javis, I also read of it, and I was surprised, and I'm surprised that in our own politicians in Cameroon, they need to raise funds before they can actually participate in elections. We saw in America that Trump, before coming, at least he was financially viable to stand for the presidential election, and we saw the Obi in Nigeria and the rest. But notwithstanding, we are still waiting for the official statement on why the MTN number was suspended and what is going to become of the MSC as far as raising that fund is concerned. But I also read somewhere where they have sent their account number in a First Bank, that those who want to support the presidential campaign of Maurice Kamto will send their money. So I think that people of goodwill, members of those parties who like to see their president, to see Kamto as a president, I'm sure they are going to send their widow's mite to help him stand for the presidential election.
Okay. Also, I want your reaction on the banning of CRM in Yaoundé by a division officer for taking part in the march past.
I think I would like to condemn that one, because first, when you start behaving like that, you are making MSC more popular. You are instead advertising MSC. I think they would have just allowed MSC like any other political party.
Because it's a national day.
Yes, it's a national day. It's not a day for the CPTM. It's not a party day. It's a day for everybody. I think that MSC, the DO or whoever would have allowed MSC to march and celebrate the day like any other political party. When they start to behave like that, it is like you are very afraid of MSC. And so we know when people always like to shift their support to where there is sympathy. And so by so doing, they are not helping things. I think that they are only helping to advertise and to promote MSC. So, and I want to believe that that is not a good way of administration, because administration should be in such a way that people should be allowed to express. We are in a democratic country. People should be allowed to, at least to express their feelings, to express their actions and the rest. By saying that he's banning, I think I'm totally against it.
And lastly, for you, before we take another panelist, the SDF convention is around the corner. Many see the raising of the caution, 50 million, as a ploy by Joshua Nambage OC to actually remove potential rivals along his way. Joshua Nambage OC has fired back, stating that the action is not to remove potential rivals, but is to take the process serious. How serious can this process be when you are amounting 50 million in a nation where cost of living is high, people cannot be able to put food on their table, and you are captioning it an area of making it serious? Is that not anti-democratic?
I think it is totally anti-democratic, and it shows that if you don't have money, you cannot rule.
Well, how much is even the caution for presidential election for the nation itself?
There are people in this SDF who has the managerial skills, but I think that they will not be able to raise that money. And more to that, look at the time when he's coming to say that you should raise 50 million just within a space of few months. How many people are going to raise that? How many militants of the SDF? We know that most of the militants of the SDF, there are mostly people who, let me just say,
the
grassroots people. And so when you come and raise this amount to 50 million, what are you telling the people? You are telling the people that if they give you the power, you become a dictator. He would have said that long ago, so that people should be aware. Maybe some people would have struggled to see how they can borrow from banks or anywhere. But when you come at the neck of time and they say they should raise 50 million, because you know that you can raise the money, I think that is an indirect way of being a dictator.
And non-refundable.
Non-refundable.
Even the state presidential election, not a 50
million.
It's
not 50 million. How do you? 30 million.
Yes, not 50 million.
How do you raise your own above that amount? That shows that you are a dictator.
Mr. Emmanuel, your reaction first with that of the suspension of the mobile money number which received funding for MRC when you heard the news.
That thing has actually caused a lot of confusion and a lot of mixed feelings, because MTN, you cannot create an account with MTN and out of a sudden the account is being blocked. Again, it's being reactivated.
Without notification.
Without notification. There is a pulling force behind every action we take. And those people, the agents, the mobile money MTN, they have received several calls from what we have read so far that an instruction was given that block this account. Then I asked myself, my senior man said, raising funds, asking for people to support a presidential candidate shows that you are not capable. I asked myself, where on earth has elections ever taken place when the people have not supported the candidate? Is it about you having the money? Is it a political party? People do not say that they should support Maurice Kamto. They are supporting MRS, the political party, and not Maurice Kamto. So supporting the political party shouldn't become a problem. If sympathizers, militants, and even how do I call it, those who are going to change, even people from the other political party who like to support, they are supporting but the political party, so that they will have, because the money is not going to be used by the person, one person. It's going to be used by the party to sponsor party activities. So there is no problem with that. And I asked the legality of why should an account created by a political, we did research. It wasn't created on behalf of somebody's name. It was created on behalf of the party's name with the party's document. You can verify for yourself. So why should they suspend it? And I think that we should stop deceiving ourselves by acting as we are receiving command and acting as though we do not know what is happening. Those things we already know, that it was being commanded, telecommanded from the background that do this and to see. And there's a way Cameroonians authorities, they react. There's a way they used to tease people. They touch it, see the reaction, and then they withdraw. They touch it. There are various things that they do, and then to see the reaction people are going to give. And we are all witnesses to what is happening. Look at the issue of banning a political party. It is not the first time for marching. It is not the first time it's happening in Cameroon. We have all decried. Who says the deal of Yaoundé one cannot sit on his own and say this particular MSO is not going to march because they don't have a representative at the National House of Assembly or in the council, and they are not going to march. Whereas the very political party is marching in other areas. It is a calculated something by people. And then when they do that, we have spoken. Last time we saw it many years ago. And it's another one, even with still concerning MLS. I'm not a member of the MLS, but I'm looking at the political issues that are happening.
You are looking at the objective.
I'm looking at it. Before they build up to the 2018 presidential election, we saw an authority in Cameroon who gathered material, MSA gadgets and burned them. What happened?
And we also saw.
I am talking when you have yes. We saw what happened. We spoke, but nothing happened. But let it be a commoner. Something happened. Few days ago, we saw as a chief.
But you should also understand that we have also seen that of CPD being desecrated.
That's what we're saying. We have seen them. No, we understand that was that one. That context was
and
different.
And also should also go what was done to those people.
Good. That was done to those people. That's exactly what I'm saying. If that was done to this particular person, if a crime is committed, let the person or the committers of the crime go punished. Let them punish. We saw a chief. He had a
there's
meeting.
A chief that also banned MRC activities in his village.
We saw he.
Why are they afraid of MRC?
That is the question we are asking.
In a party that they say will not be able to stand, give a candidate election.
I was coming to a particular point to say that the democracy we are preaching in Cameroon is no screen. We don't. If we want to go by the SDF, Social Democratic Front, there is no democracy in the CPDM, Cameroon Democratic Movement. There is no democracy in it because it is actually just I don't know how to put it. You are seeing part of just like you are presenting me. I'm seeing myself in the mirror and then it says a different thing. Because how can you say even the liberty laws of 1990? They say that you are, as a citizen, you are free to militate in any political party of your choice, in as much as you do that with the respect of the law. The chief, he had a meeting with the minister, with Minat. Few days after, we saw him destroying arrogantly, in a very vengeance manner, destroying the city. What is there? If you are civilized and you follow the law as it claims, call the people. This thing you did, it is not right. This thing that this is how you do it. You can start over. What is simple in saying that? Then you go and create a sin to come back and begin to justify and say that we are doing that with respect to the law. Which law? When does it mean that the chief have more laws, or the chiefdom have more laws than the constitution of Cameroon? Please, it is high time we should respect what we say, what has been written. And that's why we are suffering the effect of lazy democracy, I can put it. Weak democracy, because we do not respect the institution and the laws put in place. I'm pleading. It is a call. We the youth, please. Youth should not be lured into practicing what our seniors, what our elders are doing. Please, we should learn. We should make Cameroon that land that we respect the law. If you go against the law, no matter whoever you are, you should be punished. Okay. You should face the law.
Now, the issue of Social Democratic Fund caution raised to 50 million non-refundable. What's your position on that?
That, as well, is I don't know how to put it, but that's why I'm saying that the democracy we have, it is calculated democracy, where we calculate, we say things to block people. We don't give people the chance to say what they can do.
What of other parties have the militants?
No, I will come in. No, he has index. He has index. He has no. We
are going to appreciate that.
He has indexed all the political parties. He says that he does not see democracy in all the parties.
There is no democracy in all the parties. I can prove it.
So that he said before he's saying this.
Yes.
Which means that his initial premise, he has quoted every party.
All the political parties in Cameroon. There is no democracy. There is no actual democracy, and that's why I keep on saying that democracy in Africa is a scam. With respect to what the SDF is doing, when you look at the agenda, when you try to look into the mind of the president of that the chairman, what does he think? Because they said, before you react, you need to have an objective of your action. Your action or what you say should have an impact. It can be negative, it can be positive. But when we sit and you do a psychoanalysis of what he's trying to do, you see, okay, it is the same thing that goes all over. It is the end that justifies the means. To him, it is the end of what he is doing. How did they come about? Did he sit alone and take the decision? No. He sat that with his own cabinet, the very people in the SDF, and they took that decision. So to me, let them deal with it. Let the members of the party, they should deal with it, because from onset we have actually advocated for accurate democracy, where guided democracy, where things are done according to the rules and regulations, according to the law. But we are the one twisting the law in order to suit our personal aims. So let the people do what they. Those who are able to raise 50 million, let them go ahead and raise. Those who are not able, let them go and support. If you cannot raise 50 million, you can raise 25 million. Come and support OC. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy Sunday to you and the rest of the panelists, Sir Tah Mai Javis. Please, why is CPDM not demanding her own militant to do donation for campaign? Is it because we cannot distinguish between the National Treasury and the CPDM Treasury? This is coming from Lawrence in Douala.
Can I comment before I go ahead?
Very briefly.
The CPDM, they do donation, but not publicized.
Yes.
No, we're Cameroonians. We're Cameroonians, not publicized. Yes.
Let me start with the issue of the banning of MRC march past in Yaoundé from a division by a divisional officer. Now, the 1990 law talked about freedom of association and political freedom to belong to every party within the context of the law. How much of a threat will a youth that is the youth of Cameroon, where a particular party is sidelined, is it that this party is not part of Cameroon?
Yeah. That's a big question all of us are asking ourselves, because when I saw that communique, I was wowed. I was like, what's happening? At least it's a march past. They were not coming out to go on a strike, because sometimes we understand that maybe the government is banning them from doing some movement around because they might cause destruction, but they are coming out. It's a celebration day, a day for the youth, and the CPDM is a party recognized by Cameroon laws. So the youth within that party, they are of every right to come out that day and exercise and celebrate that day with their president, because they are part of the youth and they are aiming to be future leaders. So that decision from the SDO, is it the DO from the SDO? The DO is a call of concern. Yeah, because he didn't actually. There's no actually concrete reason bringing that, because
there's no law that they have violated.
Yes, there's no law. They're actually coming out to celebrate. I don't know why you are banning them that day, and I think that day there will be security. Or what, for whatsoever reason he has brought up such. I think his boss, the Minister of Territorial Administration, I think this is a time where we need to see him act in a more reasonable way and see if he can make things more favorable. Let's practice a fair play. How can I put it? Tolerance when it comes to politics. One thing I always cried in Cameroon is that we don't have political tolerance. We turn politics into enmity in Cameroon. And that's something that this communique is already a sign of it. When you come out to say the MRC youth will not march that day, it's not really encouraging. It's not really encouraging without citing any reason.
Any law. Because normally you are supposed to say mindful of law. This is all the mindful.
Yes. But they mentioned that they don't have representatives in the parliament. According to the law, so that
which law says? Is there a law? I don't know. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I don't think, is there a law that says that if you don't have representative at the national level, a party should not take part in celebration to celebrate the state?
The national day?
Yeah, I think if not of memory laws, I think there's a similar case that happened some years ago, still in Cameroon. Yes, PCR. Yeah, the PCR was blocked from marching because they didn't have a representative at the national level. Yes, I think
that was on the 20th of May.
20th of, but this time around, this is a youth day.
A youth day, which means that those youth of MRC, they are being deprived.
This is a youth day. This is a youth day that every party always march on. Every party always celebrate youth day. So I don't understand why the GO is taking such action. And also, let's try to see how they can fix it. They should try to see how they can fix it. I think before the SDF usually normally used to celebrate only the Unity Day. If I'm not, the SDF, there was a time the SDF did not celebrate the 11th February. They used to celebrate what 20th May. If it's not 20th May, it will be the 11th February. Quite they had their reasons. The chairman, late John Fundi, had his reason, but towards the end he changed the way of the SDF, the ways of the SDF. However, we are calling on the GO to see how he can look into this, because that's creating more attention and giving people more reason. If actually you are doing something thinking you are trying to maintain order, at least just provide more security, caution the various political parties that this day we should come out this way, and we should avoid creating disorder. Make sure your security is intact. Don't just come out and stop a particular political party from not marching, because I think that day we'll still have other political parties without representative marching. You think all these parties that pledge alliance to President Paul Biya, some of them don't have representative.
They will march.
But they will march. Ben me, you will see Jean de Dieu Momo's party marching in Cham. Because Jean de Dieu Momo has a representative at the national level. Or maybe it's because Jean de Dieu Momo is a delegate minister at the Ministry of Justice. However, that's what I had to contribute.
Okay. Now, concerning this issue about the funds, the mobile money, blockage of mobile money for a party, shouldn't MTN have actually notify the party hierarchy, because it's my money, it's my fund? Don't you have a right to
I smell a different intervention coming from somewhere else. Maybe because actually reading through some reaction, it seems they hadn't completed the legal process to have permission to do that, or there was a misunderstanding, because normally they said they had already reached out to the Ministry of Territorial Administration to have permission to do such funding, because those kind of fundings don't just go without state approval. And it seems the state actually approved but wanted to manigance things while the contributions were going on, because we can see immediately after the reaction of the outing of the national president of the CRM, Professor Maurice Kamto, just some few hours later the mobile money account was reinstated. And it shows that they had a problem of being the right. Have they completed all their documents to be able to collect funds? Because there were some reasons because this is not the first time they are coming at the CRM for such things. The last time Minister Paul Atanganji said they are trying to scam Cameroonians. Yes,
during the COVID.
This is not the first time, and I think they both know what they are fighting, because though we mix what we already know where the problem is coming from. But then I will just encourage the CRM.
What do you mean by we already know where the problem is coming?
Mr. Javis, when we say it's already a state versus CRM issue, because normally if it was coming from MTN, maybe I would have said maybe MTN would have reacted and said no, the amount of money coming in is huge. Maybe it forced the SIM to be the mobile money account to be blocked, because I don't know. MTN always say there's a percentage you cannot take.
But if a company have their mobile money account created now.
Yes, that's it. I'm saying.
And maybe this was not created on an individual name.
All of these things might be at the level of legalization. Yes, or it's small misunderstanding, because a small misunderstanding between the state, between the government official involved and the CRM, because it went operational. It means they already accepted. Maybe they were waiting for him to complete some certain things in order for it to go on smoothly, and it didn't go. So we don't really know. Cameroon has become so complicated that we don't know. Are they trying to stop it, or why did they just stop? But MTN, why did they not stop the accounts in the banks?
Yes.
Why did they not stop? So maybe there might have been a misunderstanding somewhere that I will just beg them to look for grounds and solve it and continue their crowdfunding. However, I hope they have established a mechanism to give back a feedback to the population how they will use those 6 billion. 6 billion is not Benye money. Yes, I hope they have established a mechanism to tell us after that they would spend this money like this during campaign with this. We should not just collect money after the presidential election. We all go mute, without giving a clear account that no. It should be written. I don't know if they even have a website, because normally in the white man's in a developed area will be through a website, a GoFundMe website, and everybody will be seeing the amount that is coming in. Everybody will be updated that the CRM has already received this particular amount. It will be clear. But this time around, we have bank accounts, we have mobile money accounts. Only they will manage to know the amount that is entering there. So if tomorrow they come and tell you people that we were able to receive 1 billion, you will not be able to defend it. You will not say they are lying or not. Whereas they had to create a platform where if anybody chips in but 100 francs, it will pop up there that this is already the amount contributed. However, that's what we had during Donald Trump presidential campaign. Yeah. We were updated.
Yeah, America has a what we call federal campaign election filing.
Yes.
Where they actually check all the amount that you received, and you have to detail how you are spending the money to ensure that you are not laundering money under the guise of getting funding for a political campaign.
Those are the kind of things, because I've seen so much negligence when it comes to this one. I'm not saying they have every right to do their crowdfunding, but they have to be clear with it. They have to make sure that there's clarity. People should be able to see how it is going, what they are doing. Now everybody is glued. You see people pledging, I've pledged this amount, 300,000, I've pledged 1 million. How much have they already? We needed a platform where we'll be seeing that, okay, the CRM has collected this amount, and because it's money coming from Cameroonians. Though the party members are CRM, but they are Cameroonians and they ought to be protected by the Cameroon government.
You should go to all the political parties, because
is very smart.
Okay, let me read this message before come back to you on SDF. Hello and happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think that the government should not have intervened in the mobile money contribution. What they ought to have done was to ask for accountability. But you can also be sure that it's the government. This other one says, happy Sunday to you in the studio, Tah Mai Javis, and happy birthday in advance. I would really love to be part of that birthday celebration if you give me a location. It's on Tuesday, and I don't know whether I'm going to celebrate on Tuesday, because Tuesday is a kind of busy day where we are covering news up and down, and so probably after the program or within the course of the program, if I happen to have information, I will update you, as I always reply most, and if not all those of you who constantly send me messages. I try my best to interact with you live. And this other one says, happy Sunday to you guys. I think SDF is doing that to actually prevent other people from running. It is not an aspect of democracy. Cameroon is asking for just 30 million cushion for any candidate. SDF, a single party, is asking for 50 million. That means when Joshua Nambagi becomes president, he will raise the cushion of Cameroon presidential election to 100 million, because he knows that nobody will be able to raise it. And if he realizes that people will be able to raise it to 100 million, he will put it at 300 million. And that will be worse than Pobia. Pobia, who has been there, has only raised it to 30 million. And he's coming to raise his own for 50 million. Types of party, types of leaders.
Javis.
But will you disagree on this premise that let me ask my question. Will you disagree on this premise that this is a ploy to disqualify a lot of people? Because if we have to look at nationally, they said the level of what Honorable Joshua Nambagi gave was that they have to take the process serious. So is he telling us that Cameroon's 30 million is making the process unserious?
Javis, don't mind if I'm laughing. Let me say, those are two different monies. 30 million is for someone who is really ready. They still at the party level, and they have so many reasons. And I'll start by my co-panelist. He condemned Maurice Kamto raising 1 billion. Then he condemned it, and went ahead again. And said no, he condemned it and said it was a form of exploitation. It was a form of exploitation from the CRM. How can a party be going in without money? Then now the SDF has come within itself to do something. If you have interest, bring this amount. What Cameroonians are failing to understand is, at first sight, as a poor Cameroonian, when I saw 50 million, I was sad. I said, what is this? What's Joshua? What's this? But when I had a second thought, I was like, okay, if you are unable to raise 50 million or have people that can support your candidacy beat within the party with such amount, then where are you going to? If you are unable to have 50 million, you want to be president. No, let's be clear here. You want to will you manage billions? Will you be able to manage billions? Because you are not the one to have it. You must have people to back you. We saw how Elon Musk backed up. Donald Trump was backed up by so many billionaires. All the money Donald Trump spent wasn't from his pocket. It wasn't from his pocket. And Joshua Osei is not taking this money to sit on it. The money is for the party. Joshua Osei is, and one thing I want to reiterate again, Joshua Osei is not the one asking it. He is not the one asking. It is the NEC, the National Executive Committee of the SDF.
So my question now to
they
you,
have proposed and voted.
So my question now to you is NEC telling us that the 30 million cushion being given by President Pobia is not making Cameroon's presidential election serious?
That one is at a different
because
level.
that was the reply that Nambangi gave, that is to take the process serious.
Is to take the process serious within their SDF party. Within their SDF party.
Let's
acknowledge the fact that these funds, as they are saying, is unrefundable, is to be used for campaign, Mr. Tah Mai Javis. We all acknowledge here, and any militant of the CPTM, and me as a major person being observant, the SDF has crumbled. And if they don't put in effort or make people to raise up such sums, the SDF will not be able to have enough money to finance its campaigns. Those are campaigns. That's a campaign. That's a way to raise money.
If at the end of it, nobody comes up with 6 million.
No, people will come. People will come up. People will come up. You cannot involve. You cannot.
Let him land. Yes.
People will come up. We are not. The National Executive Committee will not just sit down and propose. He's not the one proposing it. It's a bureau of people made of more than 50 people. The SDF National Committee is not just Joshua Osei Nambangi. Now, it's made of, and also I also acknowledge the fact that we have so much young people that are trying to be at the top position. And I think if we have been following Joshua Osei Nambangi, we'll notice that he said this: youth are not interested in politics, but he wants them to be in politics. And he has acknowledged politics is a complicated game. We need to grow more people to come up into politics. You will not just wake up and say you want to stand when you don't have backing.
How do you get youth involved in politics, or actually coming head to head with you, where your subcommittee is raising 50 million as caution? I'm looking at it from the perspective. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the national level. That's why this viewer is saying.
I bet you, Javis, if you stand today, if you are capable, if Cameroonians see a potential person and they think he is capable to rule, I bet you 50 million will be nothing for him to raise.
Well, no.
Because that's no money coming.
No, you. I don't know whether you're trying to defend the party.
I'm not defending the party.
I'm not defending
the party. I'm trying to make us see something.
No. I want to go by you making us see this thing. Let's just look at face value. How much is the minimum wage of a Cameroonian?
They recently increased it to 45,000.
Let's just say a Cameroonian, and let's just say an average Cameroonian. Let me put a well-to-do Cameroonian who is a cadre, and let's say earns 400,000 monthly. This person who earns 400,000 monthly, how much will he need to work to raise 50 million? Are we not encouraging people to sponsor party where they will now need to dictate the will of the people and dictate how much they will get after the party? Because if you sponsor a party, it's an investment. You expect to get contract.
And it's not the first time everywhere we see people sponsoring parties.
That's why in America there's a discussion that they should take money out of politics. Should we not take money out of politics?
It will be very difficult. It cannot go.
No, when we say take money out of politics, what they take money out of politics? They are saying that the sponsorship, and that's why. Okay, will you agree if President Pobia and all the Senate or the Parliament really decide and say, let's raise the caution to 300 million?
If it is the Parliament, there's no problem. If the people representative,
the truth is, if we are looking at face value, Mr. Tita, we are looking at how much a Cameroonian earns.
When you deposit that caution, I think the state still gives you something to go on with your campaign.
But SDF says it is non-refundable.
Yeah, it's not refundable, and it's going to be used within the party for presidential campaign. What can 50? Okay, let's leave it. Everybody should come in and submit their campaign. If you submit your presidential bid within the party and you lose, another person stands now. You refuse now to contribute and support his campaign. Where are they going to take money? Will his own will
always what we call party dues.
Party dues. How much is part? That's why I said let's acknowledge the fact that let's acknowledge the fact that let me finish talking. Let's acknowledge the fact that the SDF is crumbling. And now like this, the SDF, let me bet you the SDF cannot count on its party dues. So it needs devoted members, people that will be ready to sacrifice sums of money to revive back the party.
Mr. Tita.
To revive back the party.
You,
though I'm not really in accord with it, because for somebody like me, if I was aspiring to be a presidential candidate within the SDF, I'm not going.
You are coming back to what I am saying, because what I'm saying is that
I'm trying to make us. I'm not supporting it. I'm trying to make us see their decision, looking in context the Cameroonian.
But that decision is it not repugnant to the financial reality of Cameroonians? I've just quoted you an example that somebody earns 400,000 francs in Cameroon is very big money. Now you multiply you take.
Javis, when we have observed politics in the world nowadays, tell me which country, which president has stood up without having support, a strong financial support. No, tell me which president. No, tell me. Let's be clear here. Let's be clear.
Yes.
Not just focus.
I agree with you.
Because we are trying to make it look like he's trying to the SDF National Executive Committee. I want to remove Joshua also from
that
this
because a fact.
They are trying to.
Is that not a fact? No, Mr. Kimbang. Let me come. You are talking about the fact that you have mentioned 3 times that SDF is crumbling. Yes. SDF is crumbling, and that's why they need this money. Will this action not further distance a lot of people from the party? I spoke with the coordinator of Kimbang SDF. He was very bitter about this. And I spoke with also another coordinator of a popular, I will not call the area because people can easily locate him. He a very big coordinator in one of the divisions in the Southwest. He was very bitter about it. And he told me in blank flank that this decision is what makes many people to join other political parties. And you are talking about bringing the party together in an election where the party came 3rd in a presidential election. Now, raising the quotient to 50 million, does it mean that SDF in itself lack people who can raise money to support the party campaign? Because you're talking about supporting party's campaign. SDF has members of parliament and senators and other activities where they could use to raise revenue. And now they are relying on the 50 million quotient. Is it not employed to move people like you who probably could be eligible, or who people like, I'm not saying you because you're not a member of SDF. I don't know, you're not. No, but when I say people like you, I'm using this figuratively. People who are young, aspirant, who probably earn between 400,000. Let me give you before I land, Mr. I want to give you an example. Assuming that somebody earns 400,000 in Cameroon, and the person is married, the person will stay in the studio in an apartment. An apartment in Douala or Yaoundé is about 150,000. So you minus that 400,000. That person is left with 250,000. That person's family has to feed per month. They feed 100,000. You have left 150,000. Transportation 50,000. That person earns 100,000, and that is good money for Cameroon level. Now, don't we think that making many people, because the reason why the state brought in the 30 million quotient, which is refundable if you have a certain percentage, is because they want to at least reduce the number of political parties, but theirs is refundable to a certain level. Why can't that same NEC say that, okay, if you come 3rd or 4th or this, you have this number of reduction given to you, but you say the money is totally non-refundable? Looking at Cameroon financial reality, how many people are in Cameroon are able to put food on their table? Across Cameroon. Let's look at across Cameroon. And a party that is struggling, Mr. Tita.
Javis, let me say this. It's actually disheartening that the decision will not permit some people who are not financially stable to aspire for such positions. And I think from the critics, I really pray the NEC looks back at this decision at the upcoming convention on 1st March. Let them look at it. Yes, taking into consideration our situation in Cameroon, they can have a look at it. But when we want to look, being observant at the political level, that amounts to not be something to cry for somebody that wants to come and defend and bring change in Cameroon. Yes, because a hungry stomach, how will you go out hunting to come and feed back your people? This time around, politics is not just mouth. You should be able to come and tell Cameroonian that we are going, when I become president, I'm going to innovate this. As standing as candidate, I'm already talking with these people, with this company in China. We will bring this and come and renovate. A poor man tapping palm wine in the village will not be able to create those connections, Mr. Tah Mai Javis. A shoe weatherer in the village will not be able to create connections with people in the Western world in order to, if he does not have backing. What was
the job occupation of the first founding president of Cameroon?
He was an electrician.
He was an electrician backed by France. He did not stood
now. How do you show that there are other people who probably would have had the money for a quotient of 25 million refundable or 50 million refundable?
Let them come.
Let them actually commit them. No, and secondly, look at the time it was announced.
Yeah, the time frame also is very bad.
So is it not telling people that this was deliberate? Because NEC cannot say that they are not aware that presidential election will be held in October 2025. NEC cannot say they were not aware that electoral register will open in January. NEC cannot say that they are not aware of the fact that Cameroon's social or economic situation is in dire need. Start by announcing this ahead of time so that people build their alliances in such a way to contact or to actually go head to head with Nambagi. But now coming in this period and March is just around the corner, where probably many would have been expecting, maybe people have kept their 50 million or 10 million. Does it mean that when he contested last time, he was not the process was not serious? When the quotient was not 50 million.
Anybody complaining should have told you that I wanted to become the presidential candidate for SDF before that money has blocked me.
We are still
let those. My problem now is let those that were aspiring to compete with Joshua OC come out and complain.
Yes,
that will be a full stop.
Yes.
If they don't complain, let's just see. Let's wait till March 1st.
Yes.
From then now we'll see if they will not compete with him, because these are party rules that were not decided by one person. My problem is they are focusing and putting this thing on one man's head. It was decided by a whole body. He's the chairman, but he does not decide. If he was the chairman, he would have if he had such power, Joshua Osi Nambangi would have automatically declared himself presidential candidate of the SDF. But looking at the SDF as a democratic party, which they say they are, Joshua Osi does not have those power to decide that this is the caution fee or I am going to be the candidate. They follow party rules. And it is within the party now that they will decide. Let's see if on March 1st, Joshua Osi Nambangi stands alone as the sole person contesting to be the flag bearer of the Social Democratic Front. Then we will now say there was a problem. He have a problem.
Okay, but now, yes. How will Cameroonian be certain that this money was actually paid? Because now you are bringing us to another polemic.
It's a Congress.
No, yeah,
it's a Congress.
Yeah.
Party members.
I've not refused. You are bringing us to another polemic.
Yes.
Where it doesn't suffice as I just bring Mr. Kimbang. I tell you that Mr. Kimbang, let's announce that you have paid your own 50 million. Whereas you have not paid the 50 million.
If they
go to head to head to make you legitimize the process. Okay. How do we show accountability? Because the money is not paid in any treasury or the transparency of the funds.
Okay, if they don't pay now, that's their problem.
I don't agree with that.
Because the money is for their own good. It's for the help of the party. So if they decide not to pay and tell Cameroonians that the various candidates competing with Joshua Osi have paid, then it's at their own level. It's their problem. It's their cup of tea.
Mr.
It's their cup of tea.
You are a Cameroonian, and we are talking about democracy. That we are saying it is power of the people, by the people, government of the people, by the people. And for the people. We are looking at SDF as a party of power to the people and equal
opportunities.
Equal
opportunities.
How equal?
I know where you're going.
How equal is that opportunity when you come at the eve of a NEC assembly to say that the NEC have the primary to say that the NEC has decided or voted that it should be 50 million in an election where reality is daunting on Cameroonian, shows that an average Cameroonian to raise 50 million in itself without stealing, will definitely need to work. Someone that earns 400,000 will need to work for approximately 60 years to raise that 50 million if the person is a government civil servant. 60 years. So we mean we take 60 years for somebody to raise NEC, and which is non-refundable in equal opportunity. And looking at we are looking at the general context.
Yeah, Javis,
is it not heavy?
It's heavy. But when we look at the political ideology being preached by the SDF this time around, if you've been following some of their platforms, you notice that the SDF encourages you to join politics, but tell them, first of all, start from the base. if youth comes into the party, we build them. Start from looking at positions like being a mayor, a parliamentarian. Grow up now before you
So
start
how
aiming
equal
for
is
the
the opportunity now? If you are telling
No,
somebody
they-
to start from the
Not
base.
everybody can be the president.
Not
at the same
everybody
time.
can be the
No,
president.
we are not saying
if you tell,
everybody.
if you tell all the youth to join the party that they will be president, there will be a problem.
No, we are not
Tell
saying-
them the
No,
truth.
no. We should,
Tell them the
we-
truth.
We are,
Tell
Mr.
them the
Mi-
truth
Mi-
in
we are
their
done.
faces.
This is
Mr.
we are done.
Emmanuel, we are-
Tell them the truth in their faces.
I'm not
Let's be
listening.
factual
I'm
here,
not listening.
Javis.
My issue is the
Sometimes
equal
we just want to
opportunity.
make things equal opportunities. Okay, let's say equal opportunity. Everybody will be parliamentarian. Everybody
That's
will
why
be
there's
mayor.
primaries.
There will be problem. That's why there are now primaries. Primaries now depend now at a certain level. We need some more seriousness. We need somebody that will be able, that if you are able to remove 50 million and leave it unrefundable, that means during your campaign you'll be able to sacrifice your personal money for campaign duties. If you can abandon
Mr.
50
Mr.
million.
Emmanuel.
No, let's be serious. Let's look at some.
Mr. Emmanuel, so
Javis,
are you saying that-
Javis, let me
are
tell
you
you,
saying
we
that-
are not. Yeah, we are not more in a time of abeg. If you are not able, if a candidate, Professor Maurice Kamto has organized
I know you are going to-
is collecting 6 billion for his campaign. Let me tell you, that's to show you that politics is not poverty. You need to have money.
We are
Kamto
not
has seen that he cannot go on the field without money. The SDF has taken their own method. Any presidential candidate aspiring bring 50
Mr.
million
Emmanuel,
and know that it's going to be
Mr.
unrefundable.
Tita.
If a presidential candidate in these centuries is unable to raise such amount,
Tita.
where are you going to?
Tita.
Where are you going to? No, let me finish. Let me
Tita,
land.
No,
Javis.
no.
You
You have raised an issue and I'm coming back.
Let me
No,
land.
I'm bringing
You
it
bring
back
back
to
the
you.
issue.
No,
Let
I'm
me
bringing it
land,
back to you. You
Javis.
say that.
You've been trying
No, you say that if a political party is unable, if someone is unable to raise
Yes.
the amount of money in this generation, it means that person is not serious. It means that you are being unfair to Cameroon's economy.
Yeah.
It means you are laughing. No. It means you are being unfair to Cameroon's economy because you cannot take what is happening in America and you bring it to Cameroon face value without looking at some unit of analysis here. I've given you a simple example that for somebody that earned 400,000, we are looking at, and somebody just talked about the fact that
If you are earning
Let me read you this
400,000
message.
within a party, go for the position which your money.
Let me
can
read you
handle.
this message. No, let me read you this
Politics
message.
is not
No.
a milieu where to
It is
go
not
and make
democracy,
money.
Mr. Tita.
If you are entering politics, know that you are going to spend
Let me
money
read you
for,
this
for
message.
different people.
Let me read you this other message. You get from what the people are saying. The thing is, I'm seeing that you're almost like defending the party, which is not supposed to be. Because we are looking at this from a general perspective. If someone who is aspiring, a party aspiring to have a president in Cameroon, raise a caution to 50 million. Then we are talking about the fact that we're in a dictatorial system. You raise it to 50 million at a short period of time, and you say it's to take a process serious. It means if you become president of Cameroon,
It is SJ dictatorial, not Osi Joshua.
no, I'm saying party. We say we are under a party. That we say this party is dictatorial. And you are going for your own election, that the state asks for just 30 million. Because they still look at the economy. Because one of the reasons that was advanced to that 30 million was the economy. And they calculate how much an average Cameroonian who is well to do can raise that 30 million. That was the calculation that was done. And that's why it was that way. SDF tells you that it's to take it more serious. That's why they raise it to 50 million. It means that if they become president, if they have a president of Cameroon, they will raise that quotient from 50 from that to a number where they think that their presidential candidate will maintain. Let me read you messages of people. You understand
And
where
if
these
they are
people are
raising,
coming from.
if they are raising to that amount, it means they'll be able to.
This
create
one says,
opportunity for
good
people
afternoon,
to-
Mr. Javis. Who even wanted to challenge Oshi? Because to me, let me read you other messages. You get it. This one says, I am Tanjong from whom Mr. Oshi should know that it is not the issue of 50 million, but winning election. The Anglophone crisis has reduced SDF to nothing. The opposition parties should come together and put one candidate for Cameroon to vote. If they cannot agree, they will not change in Cameroon. I have 10 voters in my house, and if the opposition cannot come together, no person will leave my house. Talking to the constitutional to go and vote in a war zone. This all right, it says, good afternoon, my brother. Says the decision was made by NEC. Good afternoon, my brother says the decision was made by NEC. The NEC is just like our parliament. I agree with the guy that said democracy is a scam. Saying that the decision comes from NEC is another example of fake democracy. We have seen laws passed in our parliament, like example, mobile money law tax. Everybody is complaining, but government will tell you it was passed by the parliament. Is democracy really for the people in Africa, a man were writing from Bamenda.
Not
And
at
this
all.
other one
This is
right,
the point
he
I want
says
to
that
raise.
this
Most
other
of these
right,
people criticizing
This
are
one-
not even part of the SDP.
they mustn't be part of the party.
Then how do you want change?
So
within the
when you
party if
criticize,
they are not
when you criticize CPDM, are you part of
I'm a
CPDM?
Cameroonian.
Well,
I
so are
criticize
they not
the government.
Cameroonian?
I criticize the government.
It's not a national party.
Instance of the SDF.
Let me read this one.
They want to-
Let me read this one. Let me read this one. Good afternoon, Mr. Javis and crew. I want to observe that Joshua Osi is worse than Bia. He has bought over neck. Why raising money now, and how was it raised when the chairman was alive? Does it mean that the chairman did not take the process serious? Love the program. I am watching from Bafusa. This other one says, let me read you message of people. These are, sometimes we talk, people may feel like we are just talking.
One good thing is that I've acknowledged the fact that the time frame.
No, you have not. No.
I did
Yeah, you are not. You are
acknowledge.
defending. You have totally defended the party. No, you have not. Because we are looking at it from a Cameroonian perspective.
You have said that.
At least they have even tried to organize primaries. Some of them suck. Can we do primaries within the CPD?
That's the. Let me
Can we do
read,
primaries
let me
within
read.
the CRM?
This other one.
It doesn't happen.
Honorable
This
Messi was sacked from the CRM
this one
because
read.
he showed intention to
This
replace
one
Maurice
read, this
Kampe.
one read, this one read. Let me
Mr.
read.
Barrister Tamfu Richard was sacked from
Let
the
me read. Let me
CRM
read.
because he showed
Let me-
intention to
Sister,
replace
sister, you are not
Professor
talking
Maurice
like
Kampe.
an SDF
No, I'm not talking
No,
like an
let me
SDF.
learn.
I'm
Let
not
me learn
defending.
now. No, let me read messages. Let me read messages. You are defending.
I've not even
No,
landed since I
you have
started
landed.
raising my
You have
point.
landed. You have been landing. I just give the follow up.
Mr. Jarvis, go on.
This one says, good afternoon, dear House of Commons team. I laugh when I look at your brother talking about SDF and that the process of 50 million should be raised, that anybody who cannot raise it at this time should not dare to become president. Let me ask him this question. How much is the cost of living of every Cameroonian? And like you rightly asked him, does he know how much the 30 million came about? I am an economist, and I'm telling you that 30 million came about because they look at the living standard of Cameroonians and they calculate how much an average Cameroonian can raise within the shortest period of time. If not, we are talking about vote buying and electing people who will go there to steal money because they are giving you money as part of your investiture for 50 million and they want more money. So to me, I think SDF will be worse than CPDM if they are voted. Let me reduce this other one. Because if we say, people may feel like we are just saying, or we just like, good afternoon, Javis. SDF coming with 50 million caution, I laugh. Looking at Cameroon, it's 30 million. SDF says 50 million. Like one of your messages read, and I agree with him, that this 50 million, if Joshua Nambage also becomes president, he will raise the caution in Cameroon to probably 1 billion because he will not want anybody to contest him. He is more and worse than Paul Biya, so I don't see any reason of supporting SDF. Thank God that we left the party and we left for good. This is Marshu writing from Bamenda. This other one says, nice program. Why are you people wasting time on a party that is already dead?
That's one funny thing.
This other one says, I am Joseph. I laugh. Why is everybody laughing again? I laugh because SDF should not have raised this money to 50 million if they did not want to prevent people from contesting Joshua Osi. I tell you, if a fair primary is conducted with 10 million, Osi will never come the 10th person to contest for SDF election. He will be defeated hands on. They are doing this to prevent him from being defeated. All those who call themselves NEC probably may have acted like Cameroon's parliament, and you know what that means. Mr. Kimbang.
Yes.
Let us come to the topic of itself. This issue of 5 key priority areas.
Yes. 5 key priority areas that our political
Parties.
should look at when they are maybe going in for this election. I think the first thing is that they should look at the agricultural crisis, that's security. Because those of us in the northwest and the southwest, we are living the fear of the unknown. Because every day in Bamenda, either you hear that someone has been killed or
Kidnapped.
kidnapped. So we live in fear. So if anybody wants to be the president of this country, I think he should come with a roadmap showing us that this is my solution to the crisis. If that person has that solution, I think Cameroonians will vote for him. Because these Anglophone guys are not only affected Naro and Sarawak, they are affected the entire country. That's why you see that our towns are experiencing insecurity because of the influx of maybe various people who have run away from the two regions that in other parts of Cameroon. Secondly, if the opposition party thinks that they are very serious, they should form a common front that's coming out with a single party, come together, form a coalition or an alliance that will form a single party to confront President Paul Biya. Because what is happening now is that most of the political parties, they have actually forgotten about President Paul Biya and they are fighting each other. The other day we had Maurice Kamto and Carl Bradley, they were at each other's neck. President Paul Biya to stand there alone. And you have to understand that most of these political parties that we see, like Maurice Kamto and Carl Bradley, they are only known mostly in Lipa and in the central region. When you go to other parts of the country, they are not there. You see, in 1992, the chairman, Nijon Foti, moved all over Cameroon and preached the gospel of SDF to everyone. But I don't think that Maurice Kamto has even educational reforms. Yes, if and if you are a political leader who is aspiring to be the president of this country, you should be able to tell us the type of education you are going to give to our children. Not this type of education where we cram things in our head, useless things in our head, and maybe talking about who discovered the zero to India and whatever. Then at the end, you come out from school expecting that you should have a job. We should have an education that is practical. That when you come out from school, you should be able to help yourself, not waiting on the government. Okay. Then we look about agriculture. They should be able to tell us that when I become the president of this country, this is how I'm going to tackle agriculture. Because we go to most of our stores, you discover that the rice that we consume, either we have Chinese rice, Thailand rice, and all those rice coming from abroad. If they are able to come out, you are able to come out with a roadmap on how you are going to empower the youth to go to the farms. Because when you look at Cameroonians, truly many youths like to go to the farms. But what are the means? I think that if somebody is trying to be the president of this country, he should tell that, okay, if I become the president of this country, I'm going to provide farming loans to the youth so that the youth can be able to go to the farms, work, then we will export more than importing more food. Because when you go to our supermarkets, you discover that most of the things there, they're imported. And with this type of mentality, there's no way we can move ahead, because all our money is going for food that we imported. So I think that another issue too is that they should tell us how they are going to tackle corruption, because corruption is at the core of each and every institution in Cameroon. Although we might tend to at times blame President Paul Biya, but the people who are coming in, because sometimes when I listen to some people speak, it's as if there are some group of angels standing somewhere, that when President Paul Biya will leave power, those angels will come and take over, then Cameroon will just become an El Dorado. I think that if somebody who is an opposition leader should be able to tell us Cameroonians that if I take over power, this is what I'm going to do to catch corruption. Because Cameroon is very rich, and that's why you see most of our brothers from neighboring countries, they're all here. We go to Bonaberi, most of the bike riders, most of the people are doing petty trading. They're from Nigeria, they are from Central Africa, they are from Chad, they are from Gabon, they are from Chad and the rest. They should be able to tell us that this is how I am going to curb corruption. Then we have constitutional reforms. You want to tell us that if I become the president of the country, instead of saying, okay, the president will rule for 7 years, I will say, okay, let the president rule for 4 years or renewable once or twice. Because this issue of saying that somebody rules till their kingdom come is making many Cameroonians to be discouraged. And I think that if all these things are put together, then let me not forget one thing: the Boko Haram in the north. Because those who are in the north, they are really suffering. So if you are a presidential candidate, you should be able to tell us that this is how I'm going to tackle these problems. Okay. Because we have many of these problems that is what is bothering Cameroonians. And if you are a presidential candidate and you don't have a roadmap for all these things and a way forward and how you are going to solve it, then I don't see any reason why we should say we want to change the head of state. Okay. President Paul Biya, for now, is the best candidate.
Hi, Mr. Javis. I am worried that SDF will lose it all if Joshua goes for president. We need a vibrant youth. Joshua is a distraction to our electoral process. He failed me. This is coming from Mr. Kiso Christ from Bamenda. This one says, greetings to you all in the studio. If I understand very well, it means we prefer billionaires to run for president or what? To the best of my knowledge, any candidate happens to pay the 50 million and wins, he or she will definitely be out of touch with her citizens, with the concern of ordinary citizen. This other one says, greetings to you all in the studio. We always say things are not done well and open this country. This one is for you, Mr. Javis. I want to say all these messages that you are condemning SDF like this today, and you are reading them very loud and clear. If these messages were condemning the CPDM, would you have read them as they are today? Yes, I would have read them, and I've been reading them, and I've been reading editorials. If you had started watching this program from the beginning, you would have understood before sending this message. I read them, and I also give my position on editorial. And you are also joining late because we have talked about this MRC party. And so before joining late and picking up the program, I hope that you should know what we are actually saying. So please just be honest to answer us because we are waiting to hear your reply. I am Eli Divine from Limbe. If you are just to yourself, you understand that I'm one of the most critical person when it comes to editorial in Cameroon. This other right, it says, good afternoon, Mr. Javis and crew. It is not really about the time frame, the fact that they raised it to 50 million and the state says 30 million. Just show how SDF has I will not read this, but at least your message is gotten. No insult any political party. This one says, I will not read it. I will read it, but I will censor it. Good morning to you, House of Commons. I think the present SDF chairman is using a polite way to say hijack SDF as one man's business. The defense has been promised a position. SDF is no longer the party for the people. Sullivan Donkon watching from Cambe is no longer a party for the people. This other one writes the SMS, good afternoon to the panel. I am Shu Kenneth from Bamenda. For me, I think this thing has been orchestrated by Joshua Osi because last presidential election which he presented SDF, why was the 50 million not put in place? Now that he has people challenging him, he and his members are asking 50 million. Means a poor person with good vision and leadership cannot stand a chance. They are not different from CPDM. This other one says, good afternoon to you in the studio. I think, please no insult, I'll not read it. Just send us your message without insulting an individual of the panel. Just say your message, give your position. But that's
let me finish something. My brother said something about youth joining SDF and starting from the base and learning from the elders. I think if we say that in the CPDM, then we say that CPDM is a bad party.
So I didn't say learning. I said they should mold themselves.
Very good. That's why in the CPDM we also put you that they should be molding themselves and looking up to those who are there
but
for
we
the
are not
moment. I just want to take some opportunity, Jarvis, to to thank the people of Kambe and to congratulate them because the first quote of Tah was, they started yesterday in Kambe. Now if you go to Kambe now, you might be tempted to think that you are in London. So I want to thank my elites in Kambe who are doing wonderfully well. I want to thank Honorable Tang for Mengala Gerard. I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank the CEO of Bufas. I want to thank Pa Shejun Ziembe. I want to thank Ma Achiti, actually the general manager of Kamte and the rest of the others who are making sure that Kambe becomes a modern city.
Thank you.
5 key priority areas, very briefly.
Thank you, Javis. I want to say something. I will begin by saying that Cameroonians has always got the leader they deserve. And Cameroon will still have the leader they deserve. We have had all of these things, and I was even surprised that in 2018 we had lesser candidates. But then, what did they tell us? What have they been telling us? All the 9 candidates, this, and I'm sure this time around we are going to have less than 7. What should a presidential candidate, somebody who wants to rule Cameroon, should have? The first thing, the candidate, we have had a lot of them with all the, there is nothing to come and begin to repeat. All the ideologies, the ideas are there, but who should carry on? Who should be the flag bearer? Who is that person who is coming to lead Cameroonians? Who is that person? Some people on the other hand say that it is still Paul Biya to lead Cameroon to where the promised land, and others think that it is Maurice Kamto. Others think that it's Cabral Levy. Others think it is O.C. Joshua. But the right thing, the first thing is Cameroonians. Who are we? What type of leader do we want? It is a pertinent question to all of us, dear Cameroonians, dear youth. We are tired of reading memorandums. We are tired of receiving unfulfilled projects. All of you will we are still at this particular age. We are still longing for politics or somebody who will come and to say that to provide basic necessities for a particular community, you need to belong to a particular party. Politics in the 21st century should have moved further than that. In Cameroon, Javis, you understand what I'm saying? We are not supposed to be at this particular moment saying that I will give you, we want a particular candidate who will come, or Maurice Kamto, who goes on and promises maybe 4,000 boreholes in the far north. People don't have water. What is the state doing? It means that the problem, it is not those projects, but the people who have been leading Cameroon. What does the state do for ordinary citizens before? Because you are first of all a citizen before being a militant of a particular party, which means that you need to have some basic necessities before the other things, politics coming around. I am pleading, we are begging. It is the right of every Cameroonian to choose who should lead. Register yourselves on the electoral list. Somebody was saying that he has 10 voters in the house.
Yes.
Please don't be discouraged. You will have somebody to vote, and
He says all those 10 voters will only go and vote if there's
This
coalition.
I'm coming that coalition. I'm coming to that. But we are discovering something, that there are a particular set of people who are causing confusion within the opposition. If I was a CPDM member, for example, I will sit on a panel and talk about other political parties.
If I talk about you too.
Excuse me, I'm coming. Let me balance up. If I was a party, an opposition party, I was another like CRM, I will not sit on a panel and talk about SDF, PCN. No, I will look at my objectives, and we are discovering this issue of at hand, that political parties in Cameroon, the aim of a political party is to conquer power and preserve it as much as possible. We have only seen that with the CPDM because they don't have an accurate competitor. What about the others? We have all demonstrated, been shown how jeopardizing their policies have been from one meeting, from one meeting to have millions, to have billions, to do this. The compromise of having a job, having a ministerial position, having a deputy, and we go on and go over. You asked the other question the other day. How come the person with 30 councillors, they are not present in the Central Regional Council? It's a question.
We are almost out of time.
So I am saying this. I will not go on. We have my other panelists have already listed everything Cameroon, and I'm going to base more on the agricultural factor, please. That political party, that candidate who is idle, when you come, take on this issue of agriculture very well. The private sector needs a lot of revamp, to be revamped to the extent that anywhere somebody sitting in Noni should be able to cultivate, to do his agriculture and have a commercial agriculture, not subsistent. For example, you come in with cooperative, like what is happening in Noni today. There is the DIN. How do they call DIN? Agricultural Produce Marketing Corporation that has been formed in Noni. The government and all those political parties that are coming up should hold any presidential candidate promise Cameroonians that when you come to such issues like Dinamark, you will support them, support the various cooperatives, so that the farmers, those villagers, people like, for example, I'm taking the place like Noni, who are going to engage in farming, should actually have the basic things, the fertilizers, the land, everything to cultivate for commercialization, not only for consumption. Because with education, with agriculture, and the right tools in place, with the right education policies, we are going to be exposed to the...
We're out of time. Greetings, Mr. Javis. I think becoming a presidential candidate, you should be able to show proof of your asset because of these opposition parties candidates. They are doing as business persons. Everyone wants to become presidential candidate with no grounds of asset. Let's look at Donald Trump. He's a businessman before becoming an election, before going in for election. Mr. Daniel writing from Boya. And this other one is thank Mr. Javis. Can you ask SDF representative the position of equal opportunity in this manifestation?
I'm not an SDF representative. Please.
Representative. I am not a militant of SDF to the best of my knowledge. Maybe some of you have seen him somewhere as that. To the best of my knowledge, he's not.
Never been a member of the SDF.
He's not.
You are like an SDF lawyer.
This one says. When SDF representative come on panel to talk about SDF, I know
you have been talking about SDF representative.
There's no SDF representative on this panel.
I've been given so many titles in the past.
This one says, good afternoon, sir, and great job in the studio. Please, my contribution is we should encourage you to receive, not to receive 10,000 from CPDM. To let go their future on Ngum, writing from Kumba. Thank you, Ngum. Message is gotten. We're out of time. Thank you for coming because your priority areas just two.
Priority areas, I think we need to look into the education of Cameroonians, and any presidential candidate aspiring to be the next president of Cameroon should tell us how he or she is going to improve the conditions of the educational system in Cameroon, because I can bet you, Javis, we have an educational system that does not promote innovation or encourage you to be entrepreneurs. They are just being lectured and they don't even know how to go about it. However, I will not call a name now, because if I call name now they'll say I'm a party member. However, a recent parliamentarian question: how will a 70-year-old senator or a 70-year-old parliamentarian be able to know the evolution of the world? They are not even aware of things existing like AI, artificial intelligence, some things that they still
just call the name now. Joshua Nambale Osi was talking on the podcast.
I have not called a name.
Just call the name.
No, because when I look at so many things, when I look at so many things that I want to be called, they are turning it because when you look at the different candidates, when you look at different candidates, they keep giving us. They don't give us a bottom-based approach of the things, how they will handle it. When I will quote an example now, it will be as if I'm defending them. I follow all these political leaders. The CPDM is focused on convincing that Bob Yai is still the man. I think Cabral Ibi, he has brought out a book, Community Federalism, and that's a book that he has shown to us how he's going to be able to solve the various economic crises and the security aspect of the country with, throughout that his books. Like, politicians be able to present to us that this is the roadmap. If I take over, this is what I'm going to do. This is the reforms I'm going to bring.
These
but
are
then
the connections I made.
These are the connections I made. But it's rare. What have you done? We also have politicians, they don't even know the conditions in which their citizens are living. Most of these presidential aspirants, I don't know how many of them have taught Cameroon. Since 2018, after the order, they have been begging some of these presidential candidates.
Is now on a spring of movement. Eh?
Yeah, I think I had to end by giving an applause to Barrister Akere Muna for what I'm seeing him doing.
Now in Douala.
He's in Douala today, carrying out activity. He just came back from, I think it was from it was in the south, from the center region. Yeah, he went to some places with Professor Komvondo. They went there and did some activities. At the end of my point, I had to give him a hand of applause, and I see the branding he's bringing in and the talks he's having. Those are the kind we need to see you people on field, on ground, not just in the office, not just signing papers and telling us that you will do this. Prove to us that you can do this. When it comes to other things again, let's also say Cameroonian in interest are economy. Politicians be able.
Okay,
how many times have you gone down to the market to see how the people are coping with their market things? Let's have politicians. I would just love to say, let's have politicians that are present to us. They should not be sitting in the offices and telling us that they have taken this decision or whatsoever.
Thank you for
Tah Mai Javis.
And you are not an SDF person.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I'm a better person.
Yes,
my points are coming from an observation. They are not actually from me, but from an observation.
Thank you for coming. Do many see it as an observation that may seem to. Thank you. Thank you for
align
coming.
with
Yes, I'm shouting out to all my Noni fans that they should continue ruling Noni as they have already done. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, the Javis. I think that you and my son should look for a venue so that we can
Those of you who
celebrate the birthday.
Yeah, we need to celebrate that birthday.
Those of you who are watching, my birthday is on Tuesday, and then on the 11th of February. 11th of February is when I was born, and don't ask me the year. It was 11th of February 1990 when I was born. Especially, I'll be celebrating this birthday in a couple of days ahead. If you want to celebrate the birthday, you know where to join us. The number that you saw on your screen. Some of you want to give me gifts. Some of you have been writing me. How do you give me gift? The number that you saw on your screen is the number where you can actually reach out to me. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Alan, at the broadcasting. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter this day, go and register and have your voter's card. My name is Tah Mai Javis, Cameroon's Commercial Capital, Douala. Until we meet again, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.